there's tons of these beautiful images on the Amory website. All these book covers are no longer stored in the media library, so that's helpful. But pictures everywhere, which is nice, and buttons. Look at these custom images, very nice. Canva, lovely. However, if you have all these images on here and you forget to remove them from your media library, when you're done with them, it'll bog down the memory. So the older websites, especially those with WVLS, have things that bog down the memory if the images are not optimized, such as the WVLS libraries have to create a manual carousel, which means they have to add in all of the images for each book and each movie, and then it sits in the media library. Okay? So, what does that mean? Well, time is money. Money is memory. So, if I am on my cell phone and I have to pay for data and I have to download your entire page from Crandon and I have to download each one of these images, first of all, it could slow down the speed of the internet downloading onto my phone or on my tablet or on my computer, but then it's costly because if this image is really full size, so if I were to go into the media library, let's check it out. Crandon. If I were to go into the media library and if I click on this, and if this is the actual size of it, and it's 30 kilobytes, I can scroll through the pictures and you can see if they are big or small, right? So kilobytes are pretty good. And these are all JPEGs, which is fabulous because a PNG file usually takes up more room. So here's one, 148.21. Okay, now, as I'm scrolling, you can see that these are all kinds of book covers. So this is slowing the website down. If you are not using it currently, there's nothing wrong with getting rid of these old images so that your website can be freed up and it doesn't have to store all of those images and all that data. Okay, well, how do we do that? Oops, sorry, me. We have these beautiful images, right? But they're kind of big, 1400 by 450 pixels, 387 by 501. So we have all of these images on here that are larger, but you'll notice that there's less in this media library. If they're not using it, they delete it, which is great. The same thing goes for documents. If you're not using them, delete them. Maybe. So how do we optimize something, and what does that mean? Well, optimizing an image means you're reducing the file size for your website. So if you don't need to click it to enlarge an image, then it doesn't need to be super high def quality, right? These are optimized because I can't click on them to enlarge them, and the only purpose they have is to be decorative and look nice. They don't have to be super high quality and enlarged, so why not save that file space for something else? These are 300 by 300, but if I shared it to social media, it would be 800 by 800 because on social media, people tend to zoom in on things. And that's not the function of this image. This image is mostly just to grab your attention and bring you to a different page. So the first tool that you have in your toolbox is actually Canva. And let me show you what I mean here. So I made this image to be used on Facebook. So when I go to click download, it's a PNG and it's this big. It's 640 by 924. And it gives me the option to compress the file to give it a lower quality for a PNG. Now, what I'm sharing on Facebook, I don't care if the file size is huge because Facebook is storing it. My website is not. Now, if I were going to bring it to my website and put it on my website, I would choose JPEG. And you'll see that Canva does a nice job of telling you what each file size is for. So JPEG is a smaller file size for an image. Yeah, maybe, babe. You can dumb the quality down so that saves file size even more. Or you'll see that this is a 1640 by 924 pixels. Well, it doesn't need to be that big. And how big is that? What does that mean? So if I present it, this is how big that image is. Look at how clear and nice it is. We don't need it to be that big. So what you can do is resize it. And so I'm going to resize it. And now when I click download, you'll see that it's less here. I'm going to download it as a JPEG at 100%. Okay, honey. Okay. So let's take a look and see how big that file is. If we look at the details here, it's 362 kilobytes. If we look at the original file size and we download it, come here. Yeah, so this is the original file size. And we download it as a JPEG at 100%. I want to compare the sizes. Look at this. Just by reducing the size, we dropped 1,000 kilobytes. Okay, so here's this image. Here's the other image. There's not that much of a difference, especially, so this is the lower quality, right? If I make it really small, it still looks great. So that's how you can save some space. That is called optimizing. Okay, and it's even more dramatic if you do it between a PNG and a JPEG. So let's download a PNG. Remember, these are JPEGs. Let's go to PNG. Okay, so this is a PNG full size, 1,400. This is a JPEG full size, 1,300. And then you can add a transparent background, which increases the size. Let's just click compress. Let's see what compress does. So Canva is doing a lot of design work for you that would take more expensive programs to do for you. Check this out. By simply clicking that compress box, it saved almost 2 times the memory, and here it is. How does that look, huh? Not bad, and it's still a PNG. Okay. Is that making sense for you guys? Any questions on optimization? Then we can go on image shape, because I know people were interested on image shape. Any questions on that? Okay.
And
the other thing, oh yeah, who's there?
It's Ellen. If you get a chance, can you show us how to clean out the Divi library? I've cleaned out the media, but not the Divi library.
Okay. before we go to the Divi library, I'm going to show you how to do some shaping with your images. So let's say that, let's see what I get here. Somebody, if I'm doing work on a website and I'm given an image, a lot of times I will change it. So come here, just looking for an image I can grab. Okay, so let's say that you give me this image, right? I'm not going to simply post your original photograph on your website. What I'm going to do is actually go to Canva, and let's pretend that it needs to fit into this space. So what I'm going to do is actually go into Canva and create a shape for it. Custom size. And usually what I do is 300 by 300 for a square. Okay. And let's go to my uploads. I have a whole bunch of images in here. So, okay, so Thorpe sent me a raw photo. What I'm actually going to do is change it to emphasize a few things, right? We love that cow, so let's really zoom in on that cow and make the picture look nice. And then download it that way. Okay, so first of all, I'm getting rid of all of this excess photo over here, and I'm making it teeny tiny because a regular photo usually what you can do is click properties here. Okay. Okay, so a regular photo is huge. Look at how big that photo is. It's 4,000 pixels by 3,000 pixels. That's far too many when you think of this image as being 300 by 300. We don't need 4,000 by 3,000. So you can go into Canva and drop down your image size. And if you're not sure if you want a square or a rectangle, you can find design templates that would work for what you're trying to do. So, you know, do you want it vertical? Do you want it to be flyer size, which is a poster, or do you want it horizontal? What kind of shape are you looking for? And you can kind of just look through in here. And if you have Zoom backgrounds, that's fabulous. If you have the magic resize button, it doesn't matter what size it gives it to you. Then you can go up to resize and play around with it a little bit. Knock it down to 800 or play with these other file sizes, right? And see what it does for you if you want it big or little or whatever. And you can resize it to, let's say I want its length by width. No, length by width. Yeah, so I'll drop this down to 600 and see what it does. So it made it wide, right? So you can change it to whatever shape that you need for your website, and then you can smush it down up here by first choosing a JPEG and dropping it down to 80, or making the pixel dimensions smaller. That's how you're going to optimize. Okay, I'm going to show you first how to clear out the media library again to get all those old images out, and then I'll show you how to clean out the Divi library, which has templates in it. So let's pretend that all of these, we want to get rid of all of these old images here. Excuse me. You can click into each one individually and click delete permanently, or before you even scroll down, you can choose the option that says bulk select and then highlight whatever you want to get rid of and click delete permanently. I don't want to do that. I'm going to click cancel.